Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Lancaster County Board of Commissioners meeting. For introduction purposes, my name is Todd Wilchin. I am the chair of the county board this year. On my left, we have Commissioners Bill Avery and Deb Shore. On my right, we have Vice Chair Commissioner Jennifer Brinkman. Commissioner Roma Amundsen is not with us this morning. She is attending a juvenile justice commission meeting for the state of Nebraska. She was appointed by the governor to represent us on that board. Joining us this morning from the county attorney's office is Jen Holloway. From the county clerk's office, we have the county clerk, Dan Nolte, and Kelly Lundgren. From the county board office, we've got our chief administrative officer, Carrie Egan, and our chief deputy administrative officer, Ann Ames. Now please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, would you please start the agenda?
Copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is located on wall 3 of the hearing room. Additionally, a copy of all written material to be discussed at today's open meeting is available from the county clerk's staff at the front of the hearing room. The material can also be viewed on the county's website at lancaster.ne.gov. Agenda item 1 are minutes. Approve the minutes of the Board of Commissioners meeting held on Tuesday, April 3rd, 2018.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the last Board of Commissioners meeting. Any discussion or corrections? Hearing none, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Avery,
Yes.
Brinkman,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Wilchin.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Number 2 are claims. Approval of all claims processed through April 10th, 2018.
Move approval of the claims.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve all claims processed through today. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Brinkman,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Avery,
Yes.
Wilchin.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Number 3 is new business. Resolution in matter of witness fees paid by Lancaster County which have remained unclaimed for 6 months or more.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second regarding the witness fees. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Avery,
Yes.
Brinkman,
Yes.
Wilchin.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. 3B is a resolution authorizing installation of traffic control devices in Lancaster County.
Good morning, Ms. Dingman.
Good morning. Pam Dingman, Lancaster County Engineer. Today, I bring before you the installation of traffic signs, in particular traffic signs that designate overweight trucks and vehicles in the maximum allowed on bridges. They are identified on the attached map, which is in your packets. Some are new postings, some are repostings, but as we met a couple weeks ago in the staff meeting to talk about bridge postings, this is the first round of signs. Most of these are indeed reducing the weight allowed on our bridges.
Any questions? Commissioner Brinkman?
So some of these signs are already in place. How long do you think it will take for all of them to be put in place?
We are working on it, hopefully by the end of the week. I don't know if all the commissioners are aware that the engine on our sign truck blew up last week and the truck is not repairable, so we are out. We don't usually do these by hand, but we are out doing these by hand with a different truck.
Commissioner Shore?
Is there a certain classification of trucks that are impacted by this change, and how are we working to notify those entities?
This is a change overall in the way that bridges are rated. As I discussed in the staff meeting, we're not really required to notify people, although we could send out a press release. We could coordinate with your office for that to notify of the change signs. Again, the list and the weights are included in your packet.
Right.
This really goes back to a change in the way bridges are posted per special utility vehicles, which goes back, I believe, to the middle truck posting. And there's now 5 or 6 different special utility vehicles, which, that's kind of a mouthful. I'm trying not to use my acronyms. And the lowest axle rating is what's put in that middle category then.
Oh, and I think if I recall during our discussion at the staff meeting, motor carrier enforcement has information about these trucks, and that they would be the ones who would notify about the change in state law.
Correct. We don't handle that. That is carrier enforcement. We have some other carrier enforcement issues that we're dealing with right now that I will probably discuss with you in a staff meeting in the future, which have become a challenge for our office. But this is the first wave of the new ratings per NDOR, and we are required to repost.
Any other questions? Otherwise, I'd entertain a motion.
Move approval.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the resolution authorizing the installation of traffic control devices. Any discussion? I'm sorry. Please call the roll.
Avery,
Yes.
Brinkman,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Wilchin.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. C is our interlocal agreements for law enforcement services with the city of Hickman and the villages of Bennett, Denton, Firth, and Hallam. The Lancaster County Sheriff will assign 1 or more deputies to duty in the village or city limits and provide a cruiser or cruisers. The village or city will reimburse the county at the average overtime rate based on the deputy sheriff's pay plan as detailed in agreement between Lancaster County, Nebraska, and the Lancaster County Deputy Sheriff's Association Fraternal Order of Police Lodge Number 29. Terms of the agreement are February 1st, 2018 through January 21st, 2019, and will automatically renew for the succeeding year until terminated. And this includes the village of Denton, Bennett, Firth, Hallam, and the city of Hickman.
Good morning, Terry Wagner, Lancaster County Sheriff. These cities and villages have asked for, over the years, dedicated law enforcement services at given times and places. And what we generally do is we select certain deputy sheriffs to be a liaison with that community, and then the community lets them know when they'd like to have a deputy sheriff there for special events or ball games or those kinds of things, and then they work it out amongst them. The deputies drive a marked unit. We pay them their overtime rate, and then we charge the village or city a mileage rate and the overtime rate for the deputies. Generally, for these overtime contracts, 10 hours a month maybe per community. So works out pretty well for them. They get some extra coverage when they feel like they need it.
So just to clarify, this isn't the normal contract that we see, which is for the normal policing activities. This is as needed through like some special events?
Well, correct. Hickman and Waverly have contracts for full-time dedicated law enforcement services.
Right.
These contracts are for an as-needed basis with these communities, and for Hickman, it's in addition to their normal 40-hour per week contract that they have with the county.
And that's why there's the overtime rate, which is
Correct.
these
Yeah,
are.
that's correct, yes.
These are additional duties that these officers would do, not on a usual basis.
Right, exactly,
Not ad hoc, but,
right.
okay. Any questions? Any other questions for the sheriff?
I'll move approval.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the interlocal agreement for law enforcement services with the villages of Lancaster County. Any discussion? Okay, please call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Brinkman,
Yes.
Avery,
Yes.
Wilchin.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. D is a lease agreement with Randy Chevalier to lease real property owned by the county as described in agreement. Lessee will pay the county $250. The term of the lease is from January 1st, 2018 through December 31st, 2018.
Move approval?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve a lease agreement with Randy Chevalier. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Brinkman,
Yes.
Avery,
Yes.
Wilchin.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. E is a recommendation from the purchasing department and a county engineer to award a contract to Tim Cisco Construction LLC for culvert maintenance. The cost of county is $380,867.35.
Lancaster County Engineer Pam Dingman, welcome to construction season. If it can just get a little warmer and stop snowing, right? So this is the first of my pipe maintenance contracts for the year. It's the first of what will be 3 contracts. As you may or may not be aware, we have approximately 6,900 pipes across Lancaster County. And my engineers in the office would remind me that that includes driveway pipes. So attached, you will find a small percentage of those pipes, which we have designed to be reconstructed in the next year. We have verified the contractor, although they have not worked with us before, we have verified that they have done great work for Odo and Pawnee counties.
Any questions for the county engineer?
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the contract with Tim Cisco Construction. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Brinkman,
Yes.
Avery,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Wilchin.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. F is recommendation from the purchasing department and the county engineer to award a contract to Constructors, Inc. for asphalt paving and resurfacing. The cost of the county is $4,571,818.89.
Pam Dingman, Lancaster County Engineer. This is this year's asphalt contract, or as we like to call it in the office, bituminous pavement. This includes overlay and the paving of South 54th Street.
Yay.
You may note that on the map, that the first 3 miles are actually overlay. It's in very bad shape. The last 2 miles are actually new pavement. This will help us as we continue to move towards the construction of the South Beltway, so that the city of Hickman has an alternative route that's paved into the city. And so we're excited to get this underway so that we have another direct paved route into the village of Hickman, as well as we're excited to overlay these areas around the county that badly need it, and it also includes the overlaying of a subdivision.
Any questions for the county engineer? Commissioner Avery?
Pam, this is the first of several that you're going to bring us?
So on asphalt or bituminous pavement, this is our asphalt contract for the year.
This season?
This is it.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't typically do 2 of those. We may have another very small one that is in coordination with some of the villages, but we're still working on that.
Commissioner Brinkman?
I had a similar question, which was the map wasn't included in our pre-meeting materials. So does it fulfill the list of projects that we listed in year 1 of the 1 and 6 we approved? This is all those projects?
This is all of the projects listed in the 1 and 6 as modified. You may recall that we switched out 54th Street
Sure.
with 98th Street, and then I will humbly remind the board that the 1 and 6 is just forecasted based on the budget I've been allocated, is not based on the needs.
Understood. But the projects that we listed in year 1 that were approved, which included 54th Street,
That is correct.
this is all those projects? Okay, thanks.
Commissioner Shore?
Just a final question. You mentioned the paving of one subdivision. Do you know which one that is off the top of your head? That's a little too small to see on the map as it was shown to us.
I apologize for that. It is, I believe it is Meadowview.
Okay.
And as we continue to discuss subdivision maintenance, this is an area where when we went out to patch it, after we'd taken over maintenance, we discovered the asphalt was only 3 inches thick. So it's gonna be very expensive to overlay.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the contract with Constructors for asphalt paving and resurfacing. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Avery,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Brinkman,
Yes.
Wilchin.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. 3G is a professional services contract with Felsberg, Holt, and Ullvig for the safety analysis of South 68th and 148th roads in Lancaster County. The anticipated completion date is December 31st, 2019. and the cost of the county is $52,650.
Pam Damon, Lancaster County Engineer. So what I've laid on the overhead shows the two areas of study, one being 148th Street and the other being South 68th Street. Both of these areas will have traffic counts and speed studies done per the contract before school concludes this year, and so we're kind of excited to get this one going. They will be using a new type of speed counting or speed measuring device, which is fairly new to the market. It will involve a camera in each direction that will log some driver behavior, and then in addition, the system has the ability to tell how fast your cell phone was traveling in the corridor, although it does not identify you. And so we are very excited to have the opportunity to implement the use of this new technology to accurately determine the speed in these corridors.
Thank you for that explanation. Going back to your comment about the behavior and the cell phone, would it be able to tell whether or not individuals were distracted by the use of a cell phone?
I can confirm that with the consultant. I do not believe so.
Okay.
Well, although if it did have a photo of the car going by, you could see if the person was on the cell phone physically, but as you're aware, Commissioner, oftentimes people use hands-free.
Right. What about being distracted by looking at the device? I mean, I guess through the technology, would they be able to tell if somebody was not
Right, and so
what they were
I
doing?
will go back and confirm with the consultant. The difficulty here will be that in particular, the north 148th Street corridor, we have over 5,000 cars a day.
Right.
So if we had 5,000 pictures to go through, you know, there's good and bad to the new age of data in engineering, and sometimes that's that we have so much data that actually reviewing the data becomes troublesome, and so I'll have to check with the
Yeah,
consultant.
well, I mean, and also I think it's important also because the reason we're doing it before school gets out is we have a large population of school-age kids who will be
Right.
using these corridors to travel to school. 148th is a very common route for Waverly High School.
It is.
And obviously South 64th for
60th.
60th, sorry, for Norris. And so will it take into that, I mean, will the safety study include information about the demographics of the driver?
And it's interesting that you asked that question. Commissioner Brinkman had a similar question that she asked me yesterday. So when engineers do traffic counts and they're near schools, we actually have factors that we add to the traffic counts depending on whether there's a school that's near or not to get a real traffic count. And it's always interesting because churches will ask that you do traffic counts on Sundays, and schools will ask that you do traffic counts during school days. You know, we're aware that that is more traffic, and I don't know if that for sure answers your question or not. The other thing is I have had discussions with both superintendents, both for Norris and Waverly. Waverly believes the best way to get a count of their drivers is to see how many permits they issued for students to park in their parking lot. And so we're trying to figure out kind of the back way to find the data for how many students. Waverly has 2,100 students, 900 ride the bus every day. I don't have that same stat for Norris, unfortunately, but I will try to get it. Norris has 2,300. So, I mean, we're roughly talking about, I guess, 4,500 students, 4,400 students. It's significant.
Commissioner Shore?
In addition to the traffic counts, what other information do you expect to garner from the consultant on these studies, and what is the timeline that we might see the work product?
So I'm hoping that we'll see the work product by the end of the summer. The thing that takes the longest with these studies typically is getting the data, the crash data from NDOT. So we'll also have the consultant pull all of the crash data from NDOT, and then they'll begin the cost-benefit analysis of what improvements would have the most significant impact on safety in these corridors.
Thank you.
Commissioner Brinkman?
I just wanted to note for the record what we talked about yesterday, which is that we will see the data probably completed, that portion of the contract, by the end of this summer, but the contract actually lasts until December of next year, and that the reason for that is that we're keeping the consultant under contract so that we can continue to talk to the state about potential help in terms of addressing the issues that might come out of a safety study, correct?
That is correct, Commissioner Brinkman. That is typical for a safety study. And as you may recall, I mean, I haven't come forward with a program agreement for the Saltillo corridor yet, but I believe, based on my conversations with the state, that the money for safety improvements that comes from the state is allocated through 2023. And so if we want funding from NDOT for safety projects in these corridors, we'll have to go through the process, and we may have to wait or discuss some other way to implement safety in this corridor. So I'm not guaranteeing any magic button. And of course, as the commissioners are well aware, the safety funding for Saltillo took about 2.5 or 3 years to secure. So,
Thank you.
Any other discussion? I entertain a motion.
Move approval?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the service contract with Felsberg, Holt, and Ulig. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Brinkman,
Yes.
Avery,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Wilchin.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. H is a professional services contract with JEO Consulting for wetland delineation and permitting services for various Lancaster County sites. The anticipated completion date is August 7th, 2018. The cost of county is $21,309.
Pam Damon, Lancaster County Engineer. This is a contract for wetland delineation and environmental services associated with the 4 sites shown on the map. H211 is currently closed. It is a box culvert. Y181 is currently closed. It is a smaller WPA era bridge. The remaining 2 structures are box culverts that have dramatic erosion around the outlet structures, and so we're looking to get our wetland and waterway delineations for these projects so that we can get them designed and out to bid this year.
Any questions for the county engineer?
Move approval?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the contract with JEO Consulting. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Avery,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Brinkman,
Yes.
Wilchin.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. I is a recommendation from the purchasing agent and county engineer to award a purchase order to Sealer Instruments and Manufacturing Company using the state of Nebraska contract 136930C for Trimble robotic survey equipment. The cost of the county is $29,690.
And you thought you were done.
I did really think I was done. I apologize. Pam Dingman, Lancaster County Engineer. This is to purchase what is called a fully robotic total station. We're excited to get one of these in our survey department. And so you may say, well, are we replacing employees with robots? No, indeed we are not. But the total station, the robotic total station, has the ability to shoot points in the field with one person. And then as the surveyor sets it up, the robotic station tracks them for when they're installing their points. And so it will add a lot of efficiency to our staking, and in particular our construction staking.
Any questions for the county engineer?
Move approval?
Second.
Expensive batteries.
This is very expensive equipment that I will note that it has the modernization of our survey department has enabled us to not replace FTEs as there's been retirements, and so it's important.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, we have a motion and a second to award a purchase order to Sealer Instrument and Manufacturing Company. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Brinkman,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Avery,
Yes.
Wilchin.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. 3J is a contract with Nebraska Occupational Health to provide the annual service of city-county blood chemistry profile. The contract shall be effective upon execution of all parties for a one-year term. The cost of county is not to exceed $4,000.
Move approval.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the contract with Nebraska Occupational Health. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Avery,
Yes.
Brinkman,
Yes.
Wilchin.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. K is a contract with Interconnect to provide commercial-grade door security access control system and service. The contract shall be effective upon execution by all parties through February 28, 2019. The cost of county is not to exceed $15,000.
Move approval.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the contract with Interconnect. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Avery,
Yes.
Brinkman,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Wilchin.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. L is a contract with All Needs Computer and Mailing Services, Inc. to provide annual pre-sort mailing services. The contract shall be effective April 15, 2018 through April 14, 2019. The cost of county is not to exceed $4,000.
Move approval?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the contract with All Needs Computer and Mailing Services. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Brinkman,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Avery,
Yes.
Wilchin.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. M is an agreement with U.S. Bank National Association using the state of Nebraska contract to provide purchase card services. The term of the contract will be from the date of execution through November 14th, 2018.
Okay, I see the purchasing agent coming forward. I just would ask Mr. Wallet to give us an update on the purchase card. I know we've been talking about this for some time, and I know that him and his staff have put a lot of time into this, so I'd like to just give him the opportunity to give us an update.
Sure. So this is the basically permission for us to use the state contract for a P-card program. And with this in place now, the city's running it through at the same time. The Public Building Commission was determined to not need one because they're part of the county when it comes to some kind of a number that's been given out. But basically, we're moving forward now with finalizing the procedures and process that we have been working on both with the city and the county. And then we're also beginning the process for hiring the P-card administrator. So I think now that we have this documentation complete, we're gonna be able to move a lot quicker because that was what the holdup was just trying to get insurance and all the documentation back from U.S. Bank.
And you mentioned the administrator for the P-card, but that will be paid for by the savings from implementing the P-card, correct?
Correct. We have initial numbers from U.S. Bank that says how much we should be able to run through the P-card program, and then based on what the current percentage is for return on the rebate, then we have numbers for that Dennis and Brandon and I have been looking at as to how that position would be paid.
And there would also be savings in the county clerk's office through eliminating the need to have all the claims processed, because we have a lot of employees and items that we purchase on a monthly basis that can now be ran through the P-card instead of being manually entered through the clerk's office.
Right, and that's something that's being done right now is, I believe Tim Janucki and Dennis are working on the internal process of how payment vouchers will be put together and coded and things like that, because we still have, that process is still part of it on how things are coded out, but instead of your individual payment vouchers for things that people are purchasing on their own, or even multiple purchases from certain places where we don't have contracts, we're going to have just one bill, but then the audit on the back side of it is what we use to make sure that it's being done properly.
And that information would be available to the public for inspection?
The audit information?
Yeah.
I believe so. It'd be the same as any payment voucher that we're processing at this time.
Excellent. Thank you for that information, Commissioner Shore?
When do you see this program rolled out, and what type of training will be available to employees or management staff to prepare for this change?
I can't give you an exact date for rollout because I'm not sure how quickly we'll be able to get through the hiring process
Okay.
with HR. That's going to be probably be the next step that's going to take a little bit longer to do. Once we get that done, then of course we have to bring a person in and train them internally ourselves, and then go out and train the employees. One thing that is possible here as we begin the program is there are certain things that we'll be able to charge on that P card that are going to be like internal charges that could be done through the county clerk's office. Let's see, trying to think of an example. I mean, there might be something like a gas bill, and I haven't talked to our natural gas distributor, but possibly just a standard bill that we get from someone right now, we might be able to pay with the purchase card. And the training for that would be minimal because it'd still be the same type of a payment process internally, but it wouldn't involve a whole lot of other employees from outside departments. Okay. So it might also be a way for us to determine how those bills come in and what it looks like. And so it's going to be a slow implementation, I guess would be the best way to put it, because I don't want to just throw out a whole bunch of cards to a whole bunch of people and not know exactly what to expect in that first month or two.
Yeah, and I would describe that as a soft launch. That way, it's a lot, I mean, you can do it in phases before
Sure.
pushing it out to all the employees. Just start with the internal, the big ones.
Right, and the people that do accounting for the county on a regular basis are going to understand the process, how it's going to work much better than, say, an employee who's just going out and buying something. So I think we'll be able to work with them as soon as possible.
And do you have, you mentioned the rebate, do you have a dollar amount that you could provide?
I don't have that number for the county. I only know it from the city because I just got done working with Brandon on something. But we do have, Dennis has that number because we've discussed it before.
Okay. I think that would be a useful in conversations. I know we've talked again about the purchase card program for some time, but I think that number is important because it, again, is a way that we are going to be able to fund the new position.
Sure. Ann, do you remember any numbers from that? Okay.
I'll follow up with Dennis Myers.
Okay.
I move approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the agreement with U.S. Bank National Association. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Avery,
Yes.
Brinkman,
Yes.
Wilchin.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Okay, thank you.
Number 4, consent items. Contract with Rainer Doors Nebraska, Inc. to provide overhead door repair and replacement services. The contract shall be effective upon execution by all parties for a 1-year term. The cost of county is not to exceed $30,000. Amendments to the following contracts. C-15-464 with Sapp Brothers, Inc. for the annual supply of lubricants. The cost will be increased by $2,000 for the remainder of the current contract term with a revised contract total amount of $52,000. C-15-150 with Thermo King Christensen, Inc. for the annual supply of antifreeze, coolants, and windshield washer fluid. The amendment renews the contract for an additional 1-year term beginning April 10th, 2018 through April 9th, 2019. The cost of county is not to exceed $1,000. C-15-151 with Sapp Brothers, Inc. for the annual supply of antifreeze, coolants, and windshield washer fluid. The amendment renews the contract for an additional 1-year term beginning April 10th, 2018 through April 9th, 2019. The cost of county is not to exceed $4,000. Right-of-way contracts with the following. Charles and Linda Spano, Bregan Road and First Street, Cheney, in the amount of $9,686. Burdette Peening trustee, Southwest 100th Street and Saltillo Road, in the amount of $2,368.50. Evelyn Beerhouse et al., successor co-trustee, Southwest 62nd Street and West Rokeby Road, in the amount of $775. Airport Authority of the City of Lincoln, Northwest 27th Street and West Vine Street, in the amount of $1,305. Utility print number 1654, allowing Unite Private Networks to install new fiber optic cable under West Bluff Road from Malcolm School to Northwest 105th Street and continuing northerly to West Waverly Road. There is no cost to the county. Receive and place on file the following items. County Attorney's Office Quarterly Report, January through March 2018. County Engineers Quarterly Report, January through March 2018. Assessor Register Deeds Monthly Report, March 2018. Clerk District Court Monthly Report, March 2018. County Clerk Monthly Report, March 2018. Records and Information Management Monthly Report, March 2018. 457 Government Plan Enhancement Summary Plan Number 006372 for the Lancaster County, Nebraska 457 Deferred Compensation Plan for the purpose of adding a contribution accelerator.
Move approval of the consent items?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent items. Any discussion? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Avery,
Yes.
Brinkman,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Wilchin.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Number 5 is public comment. Those wishing to speak on items relating to county business not on the agenda may do so at this time.
Okay, anyone in the audience wishing to speak on an item not on the agenda? Okay, Mr. Clerk.
Next is number 6, announcements. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold a staff meeting on Thursday, April 12th, 2018 at 8:30 a.m. in the Bill Oxford Studio of the County City Building. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold its next regular meeting on Tuesday, April 17th, 2018 at 9 a.m. in Room 112 of the County City Building with the Board of Equalization immediately following. County Commissioners can be reached at 402-441-7447 or commission@lancaster.ne.gov. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners meeting is broadcast live on Link TV City. For the rebroadcast schedule, visit lincoln.ne.gov. Meetings are also streamed live on Link TV and can be viewed on YouTube.
Move we adjourn?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. Please call the roll.
Avery,
Yes.
Brinkman,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Wilchin.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Okay, that concludes the county board meeting. Next would be the Lancaster County Board of Equalization. Mr. Clerk, would you please start the agenda?
A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is located on the wall at the rear of the hearing room. Additionally, a copy of all written material to be discussed at today's open meeting is available from the county clerk staff at the front of the hearing room. The material can also be viewed on the county's website at lancaster.ne.gov. Also in attendance this morning is Scott Gaines from the County Assessor's Office. Agenda item 1 are minutes. Approve of the minutes of the Board of Equalization meeting held on Tuesday, March 20th, 2018.
Move approval.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the last Board of Equalization meeting. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Avery,
Yes.
Brinkman,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Wilchin.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Number 2 are additions and deductions to the tax assessment rolls.
Move approval of the additions and deductions as corrected?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the additions and deductions to the tax assessment rolls as corrected. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Brinkman,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Avery,
Yes.
Wilchin.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Number 3 is a public hearing. This is for motor vehicle tax exemption applications, and this includes Calvary Cemetery, Catholic Social Services, the Catholic Bishop of Lincoln, Christ Place Church, Cornhusker Council Boy Scouts of America, Development of Services of Nebraska, Inc., and First Evangelical Free Church.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing for the motor vehicle tax exemption applications. Anyone here to testify in support of these applications in the opposition or in neutral capacity? Seeing none, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing for the motor vehicle tax exemption applications.
Number 4 is action on motor vehicle tax exemption applications.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the motor vehicle tax exemption applications. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Avery,
Yes.
Brinkman,
Yes.
Wilchin.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Number 5 is public comment. Those wishing to speak on items relating to County Board of Equalization business not on the agenda may do so at this time.
Okay, anyone in the audience wishing to speak on an item not on the agenda?
Move we adjourn?
Second.
Okay, motion and a second to adjourn. No, please call the roll.
Avery,
Yes.
Brinkman,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Wilchin.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Okay, that concludes the Board of Equalization. Have a good week.